for everybody. I think in the United States as well as around the world, everybody's watching our election closely and how it's going to unfold. And election day is coming up tomorrow. So everybody's kind of on pins and needles. And one of the things that you'll notice is that your own stress, your own codependency tendencies, your own feeling like a puppet that's being controlled by somebody else, that's going to start coming to the fore. Because in times of stress like this, all of our wounds, all of our codependency patterns, all of our memories, old painful memories, they all come to the surface. Normally we're able to kind of keep a handle on them, but in times like these, everybody's mental health is going kind of out the window. And so the best thing that you can do at this time is to work on yourself and work on any wounds or any codependency that you have, because it will stabilize you. It will help you stay calm in this storm. It will keep you from doing things that you'll have to fix or clean up later. I always used to say that I don't like to break windows anymore because now I'm the one who has to clean up the glass. So times like these, when we're so stressed out, when the world is so stressed out, it's hanging on a thread of what's going to happen, who's going to respond, where everybody is. It's more important than ever to come back to yourself. And one of the ways that I do that, and I use it frequently, is something called the I-Ching. Now, the I-Ching has been around for thousands of years, and what it is it's the Asian version of fortune telling. But what I like about the I-Ching is that it's filled with spiritual wisdom that keeps you on a good path. Over thousands of years, this system, this philosophy, this spirituality has been polished by good wisdom and experience, polished by people who've been through the fires and come out the other side. So I like to trust the I-Ching because its wisdom is so sound and so solid for what you need to live a good life. And it speaks to codependency really well, because one of the challenges with codependency or narcissistic codependent relationships, one of the biggest challenges is, as a codependent, you don't always know how to respond to something. You don't know how to respond to someone who is acting out of character or who is having a meltdown. You don't know how to respond when someone is bigger than you and it's threatening, or when someone gets angry at you, or when you want to get angry at somebody else. You don't necessarily know what to do. And it's that confusion, that not knowing what to say, not knowing what to do, not knowing how to act, that tends to make most codependents freeze. They freeze in their tracks and they can't move and they can't make decisions and their brain is frozen and they can't think. And then they call themselves clumsy because they're running into things. And they call themselves stupid because their brain isn't functioning properly, because they're under a high level of stress. That's what we call being dysregulated. And so when someone's under a high level of stress, like everybody is now, the most important thing is to have a good guide to follow, a good belief system, a good ideal. Now, the reason that I like the I-Ching is because it's not religious. So there's no dogma attached to it. There's no rules or regulations you need to follow. There's no someone telling you to believe in something that you just can't wrap your head around to believe in. It's based on good, solid advice. What a friend of mine would always say, GOD, good, orderly direction. That's known very well in 12-step programs, good, orderly direction. And that's really kind of how the universe works. And so the I-Ching's been studying and observing how the universe works for thousands of years. And everyone who comes out, they add a little bit more wisdom or a little bit more insight for current times. How does it apply to today? So let me give you an example. So the I-Ching originally were coins that you would throw. And you would throw these coins and they would come up with combinations. And then you would look for, you'd research what those combinations meant together. Now, throwing coins for every question I have is kind of ridiculous for me because it's so time consuming. I have question after question after question. And when I'm stressed out, I don't want to slow down and and throw the coins. Although actually that's probably the best way to do it, because it's something that forces you to slow down, forces you to get reconnected, forces you to think a little bit deeper. Whereas sometimes my nervous system likes to have answers. Hey, Kimberly, nice to see you. Yes, the body gets addicted to stress. You're absolutely right on, because stress are those chemicals, adrenaline, cortisol, it's fight or flight. And physically, your body creates a wanting, a craving for them, just like it does for any drug. So the habit for most people, because it's exciting, because there's drama, is to keep going down the pattern of stress, the pattern of blowing up or melting down or manipulating. Even people pleasing is narcissistic behavior, because what you're trying to do is do something that gets somebody else to do something. You're trying to manipulate or force the situation. So I always pull back to the I-Ching, and I have one on my phone, so it's an app. And so I can just hit the button every time I have a question, or I also have I-Ching cards, and that's what I brought today. These are my I-Ching cards. So I'll pull a card, not because there is not because divine guidance is leading me, although many people believe that it is, and a part of me believes that too, but because it's good wisdom. This is good wisdom to live a good life. This is good wisdom to get yourself out of trouble. This is good wisdom to get yourself out of chaos, to have poise when everyone around you, like now, is losing their mind because they are addicted to stress, because they are trapped in this pattern and this cycle of suffering. They don't know how to break out. Just like codependency, it's part of that dance. And if you don't know how to break out, then you need something that gives you good guidance and good advice, because otherwise you'll listen to the advice that everybody tells you, which is basically, go in and start swinging, because that's the mindset when we're in fight or flight. So what everybody is preaching, what everybody's telling right now is go in and start swinging. People are buying guns that have never owned guns before. People are gearing up. They're going to stay home. I mean, this is kind of nuts. So what do you do with your mental health when the world feels like it's going topsy-turvy? And that's where I-Ching comes in. So I have my little I-Ching cards, and today I might ask the question, or this morning I might ask the question, what is the best next step for me in my day? What's the very next thing that I should do? So I'll shuffle the cards, but it doesn't really matter, because it's always you talking to you. It's your higher self talking to you. And so it almost doesn't even matter which card that you pull, because you're going to see and you're going to get the message anyway. Because if you're in the frame, if you're in the mindset to want to heal, to move forward, then every message will help you move forward. So the very next step in my day, I take my card, I shuffle them a little bit, I'll go through, and where I kind of intuitively feel like I should stop, that's where I should stop. Now the card that I picked was Corners of the Mouth. And it's about nourishment, health, well-being, providing for others, creating balance, and nurturing the body, mind, and spirit. Okay, that sounds nice, but you don't stop there. You actually go to, and this is where the wisdom comes, and crazy enough, I turned to the exact right one. I really did. I had turned to like the third page of it, the Corners of the Mouth. This is how this stuff works. It's just very in alignment. And the more you get yourself balanced and stable, the more you can see opportunities around you, the more you can get yourself out of difficult situations, the more you can innovate and think creatively. So using the I-Ching is just a way to get yourself stable, to get yourself level again, so that you can make good decisions. And when you do, stuff shows up, like me pulling to the correct page. Imagine that, out of all the pages. So, okay, here we go. Ready? Health and well-being mean more than just freedom from disease. They are a radiant manifestation of balance in body, mind, and spirit. When the body is balanced, our capacity for spontaneity, joy, and peace is increased. We eat food to nourish our bodies, but every level of our being requires nourishment, which it takes from the sources available to it. Your quality of life reflects how you are nourished, how you nourish others, and the way you function in the world. Impressions, sensory, emotional, intellectual, are the food of the mind. We receive a barrage of impressions from television, computers, music, movies, books, and magazines, and often end up carrying too much weight in our heads. Simplify your life by eliminating anything that does not promote wholeness. You may be surprised to find that as you clean up your act, you also start feeling better. Gradually eliminating whatever is no longer relevant, stuff, habits, relationships, or points of view, amounts to trimming the fat off of your lifestyle. Consider what it would be like to live with the people and things that help you feel good about yourself. Then consider the extent to which you are willing to go and make that a reality. If you haven't paid much attention to your health, this is the time to begin. In attending to the body's real needs, it's important to bring some awareness to what, where, and how you eat. If you frequently eat in a hurry or graze at an open fridge, then you can be certain that you are also feeding your stress level. Carefully choosing foods that are natural and wholesome and eating with intention sends a message to your entire being that's worth nourishing. Maintaining good health also means exercising. Physical exercises vitalizes the heart and circulatory system and enhances our general sense of well-being. It clears cobwebs from an overfull mind by rerouting excess energy from the head into the body. Nourishment of the heart calls for healthy relationships in your life. Relationships require sensitivity to their subtle nuances and should not be taken for granted. Habitual patterns of relating lead to indifference, lack of enthusiasm, or a can't be bothered attitude that slowly but surely creates heartache. Nourish your relationships carefully so that they may provide you and others with emotional sustenance. Finally, how do you nourish yourself spiritually? Rest and relaxation put us back in touch with ourselves and nature. Make a conscious choice to tune out external distractions and turn your full attention inward. By sitting silently relaxed and comfortable, simply observing your breath and your thoughts, you can cleanse your mind of tensions that deplete well-being. When a thought arises that grips your attention, relax your breath. Let the tension go and return to neutrality. This is the simplest form of meditation and it works. There are many different techniques to facilitate self-awareness, some very energetic, others more passive, and it's wise to experiment to find the way that feels right for you. Practicing a consciousness-raising technique with regularity clears the mind, calms the emotions, and will enhance your ability to feel supported by the flow of change that is Tao. Nice stuff, right? Oh, Kimberly says it was for you too. She just started a good exercise program. Good. So when I'm in trouble, when I feel angry, hurt, stressed, irritated, frustrated, I pause and I stop and I do something like pull an I-Ching card. And the reason being, because as you just heard, it's really smart wisdom. And when I'm super stressed out and I'm pulling card after card after card, what's the answer? How should I handle this? What's going on? Where am I at? Who's going to do what to me? What's the next step that I do? And your mind is spinning. When you turn to something like the I-Ching, it gives you answers. Not just answers, but it gives you good answers. It gives you good answers that will get you out of trouble, that will help you stabilize your mind, that will give you a place to rest. Because everyone is telling us to go out and fight or run or manipulate or control. Everyone's telling us to be scared. And if you're scared, you are not tuned in to something that's greater than you. And when you're able to turn to something like the I-Ching for a source of wisdom, when you want to pull your fist back and punch somebody in the face, when you want to slam the door, when you want to shake someone, when you want to hit their car with your car, when you just want to cry for days, when you can barely get out of bed, when you can hardly make yourself even get up to go to the bathroom, when you're feeling that way, anytime, negative thinking, overeating, whatever, you need to turn to a source of spiritual nourishment, something that you believe in, something that you can embrace, and something that has really good wisdom. When I turn to the I-Ching for every problem that I have, every confusion, every decision, I'll always be guided right. And what it does is it helps you heal of your codependency and of your codependent narcissistic relationships. Because what it does is it teaches you and it trains your brain and gets your thinking in the right way. Just like watching these live streams every day, we are molding your brain into a healthier way of being just by listening to them. because we're repeating over and over the messages of how to love and respect yourself and how to love and respect other people. And that's really the only way out. I don't care what the media tells us. I don't care what the president tells us. I don't care what the politicians tell us. I don't care what the advertising tells us. The way out is to love and respect yourself and to love and respect other people. And so if you're having a hard time with that because of your own codependent nature, because someone's in your life who's pulling you around like a puppet, who makes you feel like they're in control of your emotions, whenever you feel that way, instead of fighting back, you need to pause and go to a source that is good wisdom, that you can follow, good orderly direction. And when you do that, you will make good decisions and you'll get out okay. Because at the core of most things, people are good people. And they're making bad choices because they are out of sync, because their brains aren't working right, their bodies aren't working right. And when we can look at someone not as a bad person, but as someone who's a good person, whose nervous system is off balance, and they don't know how to control it, that's when we're able to get the power back in our life. Because now we're not judging them, we're not judging ourselves. Instead, we're trying to walk a good path. And walking that good path with support and love, with good spiritual wisdom, will get you out of your codependent narcissistic relationships, because you will change. You will start to deal with them differently. You will start to think differently. You will follow a different path. You'll have different patterns. Literally, sometimes when I'm under high amounts of stress, I will pull an I-Ching card or do the thing on my app 40, 50, 60, 70 times in a day. Can you imagine what that does to my brain? That's right. It calms my brain down. It gives me wisdom. It gives me solutions. It gives me a path to follow, something that I can trust, something that will keep me on a good path to make good decisions, so I don't have to clean up windows that I've broken. Instead, I can just stay innocent and loving and supportive. If you're feeling like you can't have that right now because of the craziness, I want you to dig in deep, not in tolerance or powering through. I want you to dig in deep for self-love, because today's card was all about nourishing the corners of the mouth, which means nourishing yourself, body, mind, and spirit. And the thing that most people get wrong is they wait. They wait until they're suffering, until they can't handle the suffering anymore. They can't handle the tension. They can't handle the stress. And that's when they turn to something bigger than themselves. The smart thing to do is turn to it first thing. Don't wait. Don't wait until you're about to get sick. Don't wait until your body's falling apart. Don't wait until your relationships are about to fall into the toilet. Don't wait. Do it now. Every negative thought that you have, every tension in your belly, every tension in your shoulders, every headache that you have is a reflection of how well you're taking care of yourself. And if you're not doing things which nourish you, then you're not going to be able to get ahead. You're not going to be able to break that bond and become someone who is the true leader that you are, the true wise woman that you are. And the world needs us right now, because that's pretty much the only way out of this. You hear stories of women all over the world, grandmothers who brought people together. And that's what we need in this day and age. We need all of us to come together in a regulated, stable place and respect ourselves, love ourselves, and respect and love each other. I use the I-Ching. It's been around for thousands of years. So find your own source of spiritual nourishment today, turn to it and listen to it and love yourself. And if you do that, I can guarantee your life will start to get better. Okay? So I hope you have a great rest of your day, a great Monday. Good luck. I'll see you tomorrow morning, election morning. I'm going to go vote today to avoid some of the craziness that may happen tomorrow. And stay safe, everybody. And love yourself, please. Love and respect yourself first. Talk to you later. Bye.